Hello, it's class project time. We're going to put some of our skills into action that we've learned over the last few videos. Okay, we're going to create this. It's a quote. So we've been asked by the client to say, hey, we want some Instagram square posts with quotes from our reopening. They're made up for a practice. Obviously, in real life, you'd have to use real ones. But for the moment, we've got some practice ones. And here are the requirements. So reopening quote, make sure it's an Instagram square post size. That's what we've been doing so far. And the post must include. Make sure you've got a frame in the background with an abstract image in it. Something that's good in contrast against the text. So this is quite light compared to the dark text. I picked another one, doesn't read as well. I'll show you tricks of fixing that later on, but pick something that has quite dark so the light text can go over the top. So you might have to go back and check out frames earlier on, put an image in it. Okay, so do that. Use the customer quote and the customer name. I've got some examples down here. You can use them. You can create your own one. It's up to you. I just want you to experiment with colors and fonts and kind of get something like this going. Okay, and then I want you to do an option B. So basically just duplicate the page like I've done. I've made a second version. And what I've done is I've experimented with a couple of things. The main one I want you to experiment with is the design styles. Remember we did kind of like this section in here. So I'm going to wreck mine, aren't I? So I'm going to click on it. I'm going to go into design. I'm going to go into styles. And remember there's the combinations. Okay, so it's going to go change all the colors and the fonts. Or I can go through color palettes and fonts separately. Or I can pull them from the image. I want you to just experiment with a second version. Okay, so you got two of them that are quite distinct. I want to undo mine because I quite liked my original one. Undo, undo, undo. Anyway, so you got two options to go back to the client with. The other thing that I've got in there is to experiment with Magic Write. So I've got the same quote. See, kudos on the redesign. I can click on this. Now, at the moment, this is free for everybody. You might want to check. This might be a pro version later on. Magic Write's quite useful. I can click on this and say, actually, I want you to rewrite it. Make it more formal, more fun. Okay, it's going to try and match it similarly in terms of length, but it's going to change the kind of tone of it. You don't have to use this. It's a nice, easy way to kind of experiment with some AI, some artificial intelligence. Obviously, we couldn't really use this because it's not the actual quote from the client, but we're just experimenting and working with it. And just have a little write with, I really like rewrite. Often like what I'll do is I'll type something out. My English and grammar, you've probably already noticed in this course, isn't great. So often I'll just type in something that I feel like it's right. Might be a heading, might be a paragraph. And then I hit Magic Write and go rewrite. And it just corrects it. More formal, more fun. I can shorten it a little bit. It's pretty amazing what it can do. This will change a little bit. It's quite new feature, so they'll keep changing the way it looks. But have a little experiment with Magic Write. If you're on the pro account, it's not essential in this one. I just want you to have, more than one. Just something that they look different. You might have to resize your text box, and there you go. So do the first option, duplicate it. I called mine option 2, so I got two option 2s. I got option 2A and option 2B. So I'm going to go to the client with both of them and say, which one do you like? And then I want you to upload a screenshot of your two options. So taking a screenshot of two of them is a little bit tricky. I'm on this, not scroll view, I'm on thumbnail view. No, I'm on scroll view. Okay, so click it so you've got, so you can scroll up and down, and then you can just lower this down, okay, until you can see both of them, and then take a screenshot and upload that to the class projects. So on a Mac, it's Command-Shift-4, okay, and I can just drag a box around it, and it ends up on my desktop. That's Command-Shift-and-4. On a PC, you hold down the Windows key and then hit your print screen. Some older versions of Windows, you might have to double check what version you're using. If it's new, it might have a new version, okay? I'm using Mac in this, but you'll notice that if you're using PC, the software looks mostly the same, except screenshots are different. Okay, on a PC, I'm pretty sure it's Windows key and hit print screen. And you should end up with that screenshot inside your pictures folder, in a folder called screenshots. On a Mac, it ends up on the desktop. Big messy desktop. And I want you to upload that. Is that it on the class projects? Yeah. And for this one, we're going to do it slightly different. I want you to share on social media as well. We've got a bit of customization going on. Yours doesn't look like mine. I'd love to see your two options. So share on social media. Here's my Instagram. Here's my Twitter. Here's the Facebook group or LinkedIn group. It doesn't matter. It could be all of the places. It could be just one of the places. It could be none of the places. Okay. If you're like never sharing anything ever. You can do that, that's fine, but I do love to see people's stuff, and it is really handy, especially because there's lots of people doing this course, so they'll be able to see your stuff. You'll be able to ask for a little bit of feedback. You can tell them, just getting started in the Canva course. Here's the thing, what do you think? All right, kind of feels like a lot, but really I just want you to make a design, okay, and experiment with fonts and color, then do a second one and start playing around with the design styles, just to get a sense of how those work, and then share it. Ooh, one last thing, as I left an example, you'll see they don't really fit on the same page. I kind of leave the what I would like you to make, just so you can see it. You'll see this one up here. Okay, that's the last one. This is this one here. It doesn't quite fit on the page, but you get the idea. I'll put little examples as we go through, so you kind of get a sense of like, am I doing it right? I don't want it to look like mine, but it's the same kind of structure, and it'll have the content that I'm asking for in the words up the top here. You get the idea. All right, I will see you in the next video.